But one thing that has certainly come out and been very, very prevalent in the last 12, 13 weeks or so that we've been in lockdown is this sense of community coming together, people looking out for each other in their immediate vicinities. And a lot of that has taken shape through community events and community groups forming in a digital world. Because let's be honest, for a lot of us, physical contact has been pretty much next to nil for a long time. So our contact has been very much in a virtual sense, very much in a digital sense. So I want to talk about social community groups online this evening and celebrate those as well. And this is also my very open offer between now and 10 o'clock tonight, when I shall leave you into the darkness. I want you to tell me about any community, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any social media pages that are simply about your local community. I don't care if it's a hamlet, a village, a town, or a city. They are all as included and welcome as one another. We'll talk about a few separate ones individually this evening, but if you are part of one or have found it useful finding one of your local village, you go, oh, I didn't know that was open. That's excellent news. Little nuggets like that. Let me know what the group is called and we'll give them a plug this evening, okay? I want to talk to John this evening. Hi, John.
Good evening, Rob.
How's things, buddy? You good?
Very good, thank you. Trying to stay safe.
We're all doing that, mate. One day at a time. That's all That's all we can do. Is just do our best to try and stay safe and stay as healthy as we can. Look out for one another too, and that is exactly, of course, why you join me this evening, John. John Mortar runs the South Woodham Facebook group. Now, it says just under 32,000 members. I'm not trying to make it a competition or anything, but can we see if we can generate a little bit more so we can get it up to the 32,000 point? I'm pretty sure there are more people in South Woodham than 32,000, so let's make sure they all know about it. If you're listening in South Woodham this evening, get yourself on Facebook and get involved in the page. John, how important has the group been as a whole, not just now in this lockdown period, but as a sort of general sort of space and place for people to go for local information?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I mean, it seems to have become the kind of the bona fide place to go to find out any piece of local information you could want. I started it way back in 2007 on this little thing called Facebook back in those days.
Never heard of it.
There wasn't really anything for South Woodham Ferrers at the time. And trust me, I looked. And so, it was just a sort of a little idea that grew and grew and grew. And lo and behold, here we are 13 years later. And we've actually got more on the group than our official residents. So we've got a lot of expats, people that live overseas that used to live in South Woodham, people that used to work here that have worked here. So it's kind of, it's become a bit of a centre point, really, for everybody. Yeah.
Well, you set a benchmark there. You've actually got more members of the group than you have residents in the town.
Official residents.
The thing is, there are going to be people who live in sort of satellite towns and villages around South Woodham who frequent it, live there, work there, maybe sort of 4 or 5 days a week, or maybe they just come shopping there. So what's the difference? What difference has that page made to you, but also the other residents of South Woodham during lockdown in passing that vital information on?
Well, what we've tried to do is just make it as an open forum as kind of possible, really, so that people have got somewhere to talk, they've got somewhere to go to if they need things. We've got some extra local volunteers, for example, in South Woodham that have been amazing, including the mayor. Even the mayor has got stuck in and is volunteering as well.
Brilliant.
So we're just trying to have a space for everybody, really, because there's a lot of the whole coronavirus situation. It's caught a lot of us off guard, isn't it? Let's face it. So it's a new situation for all of us, and we're all kind of finding our feet with it still a little bit, really. But we're just trying to. It's just a place to be. And where basically, if you live in Woodham, or you used to live in Woodham, or you live around near Woodham, Fanbridge, Hawthorne, etc. Yeah, we've got a lot in there, and all welcome.
It's taken me back a long way to 2006, just before you set up the group, in fact, when I was at university and Facebook had only just landed in the UK as a thing, and you had to have an educational university email address in order to even get an account. It wasn't even a public thing at this point. It was very much about allowing people who'd gone away to university in different towns and cities to stay in touch with those people that they'd kind of grown up with, and sort of, giving you a chance to kind of share the lives of your friends that you'd sort of separated from. And actually, I think, kind of going back to that sort of process now in my mind, I'm thinking these community groups are doing that exact same thing. In lockdown, we've all become very separated and very isolated from each other, but actually we can all stay in touch within this sort of virtual community group, and it's truly, it gets a lot of stick. Social media, and I would never say it doesn't, because it's got some awful corners to it. But there are some amazing things come out of social media. The things it does, people it connects together, and it really has been an absolute beacon of light in what has been quite a difficult time for a lot of people. Seeing all of these communities really pull together, both, sort of a distance, the claps on a Thursday night, but also these groups. They're amazing.
Yes, I would wholeheartedly agree. I think that, look, as you say, there are some dark corners of social media, and I think every Facebook group admin out there in Essex at the moment, I know quite a few of them actually, but it's not perfect. It really isn't. But as nothing is it really? But I think that the positives outweigh the negatives by quite a lot here. And I've been an advocate for Facebook groups for, about 13 odd years or so. And in a way, they've kind of changed my life, really. I mean, my whole career was changed because of Facebook groups. It really was. So, and the power that they've got and still have. So, for example, one of the most vibrant Facebook groups going at the moment in Essex is the Essex Coronavirus Action page and group, for example. 40,000 people in Essex are in that group. And it's got to a point where we're having other counties asking us how we're doing it. It's the Facebook group as a tool, I think, is fantastic.
Leading the way, I like it. Essex leading the way again, coming over to here, nicking our ideas, saying, how you? Hang on a minute, how have you sussed it out? Well, that's because we're all genius, all right. That's because we're pulling together.
I think we've got a lot of hotbed of talent here in Essex. We always have done.
Pioneers, John. We're pioneers.
Absolutely.
And I very much include you in that because, although there might be a few people who remember way back a few years ago, there was a campaign to get a certain Rage Against the Machine to number one on the charts at Christmas. And John's your man behind that one as well. So he knows what he's talking about, boys and girls. He knows what he's talking about. John, listen, thank you so much on behalf of everyone in South Woodham and those that have benefited from the group. Thank you very much for helping to run the page itself. If people are unaware of it, what is exactly the group called?
Well, actually, it's got to a point now where if you type South Woodham Ferrers into Facebook, it's the first thing that will come up at the top of the list. It's basically facebook.com/South Woodham Ferrers. So,
winning,
nice,
absolutely winning. John Morton, a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. You take care, stay safe, and love to all the friends and family.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, John. To anyone who else is listening in thinking, oh, blimey, Simon's getting all the credit this evening, isn't he? Hey, look at that. He's getting a cheeky little monkey.
For that in particular, Essex Coronavirus Action support, I've got to shout out to Emmy and John, who you've just actually mentioned, and all the other guys on there. They've all been absolutely incredible.
Most certainly they are. And the thing is, Simon, I think that's one of the other things I think is a good opportunity now to mention is that, whilst we'll talk to a few people this evening about these different groups and have been involved in helping admin it and run them and even set them up, there are many, many people who volunteer their time to help these groups and pages run successfully, make sure they're accurate as well, because that's always, sometimes, you just might mistype something and that's, it happens. These things are there. So there's lots of people involved in running these pages. If you are one of them and we haven't mentioned you tonight, let us know. So Simon, tell me firstly about the coronavirus support group that's going on. How sort of wide is this group stretch?
It's quite funny actually because the page itself has got quite popular. The page that's linked to it, we get people from all over the UK. Even though it's based in Essex, we get people from all over the UK get in touch with us through it. But the actual Essex group is very, very strictly Essex residents only, and it's triggered a massive volunteering effort for people who are shielding at home, who need their shopping done, prescriptions, trips to hospital, stuff like that. So it's just expanded from literally zero since lockdown started, 0 to about 39,000 followers now.
It's incredible. I mean, we hear about it all the time. We're talking about it a lot on our project Make a Difference on BBC Essex. Every day, every hour of the day, we're mentioning another sort of thing that's going on in the county that's helping us to keep moving in the right direction, keep moving forward, keep helping each other out. And it's incredible to think that many people have got involved in just a group since the start of lockdown as well. And the amount of people that are just, actively going out of their way to make sure that others are being helped and have got what they need. It must be really rewarding to sort of watch these things unfold, Simon.
It is. I mean, one of the best things about the group, the Coronavirus Action Support Group, is that a lot of people share good news stories on there. And the good thing about the good news stories with the photos and the video is that we can use it on the page as well to sort of try and get more people to join the group, and also just to get more people to volunteer in general to offer their services and help out.
I'm just getting. I feel even better. The more and more I talk about this, I feel even better about the fact that we are all going to pull through this, and we will be okay, and it will be all right when we get out the other side of this, and we can all look back on this in the rearview mirror of life, as it were, and sort of suggest that, you know what, because we stuck together, because we all pulled together, we're all better off now for it, and we all probably have a bigger and better appreciation for each other.
It is. I mean, and I've really got to make, and especially with the Coronavirus Action Support Group, a massive shout out to Kirsty O'Callaghan at Essex County Council, because she's someone on the inside, effectively, who's taken a punt on a group of untrusted, unproven social media people to sort of try and collaborate and get the job done, so to speak. And it was obviously a massive risk for her, but she's intelligent enough to see the potential that large-scale social media groups can have.
Well, I'm glad that there's been some help as well, and I think it just goes to prove that, whilst we all might have sort of bones to pick with, maybe the council over something that's happened here or there, or maybe we're not so happy with the service we're provided by a sort of chain restaurant or a supermarket or such, they are all being staffed by people we live next door to and live up the road from, and on the surface the people that are there are all just like us, they all have a job and it is their job to do so, and that this is proving the human side of things coming through a lot more. So the Coronavirus Support Group is on Facebook as well, and the Hockley and Hawkwell people as well. I want to give that a mention. Don't want to let that go by without giving it a mention. What kinds of things do people post on the Hockley and Hawkwell page, Simon?
Most popular thing recently has been the businesses reopening and adapting. Like, for instance, we've got the cafe bar. One is serving alcoholic slushes to people who walk up in the street. We've got, obviously, Potter's Hardware. They've been absolutely fantastic, adapting to keep the people locally supplied of everything that they need. Just sort of loads of local businesses on there getting the support that I think they need to sort of try and move on from here.
Well, I know you're a big fan of spreading the word, using the internet as well to do so. You're a very prolific blogger, Simon. I know that much. I know you sort of author the South End News Network, Smooth website. You've done the man behaving dadly sort of thing as well. So I know you're very, very much an advocate for sharing and spreading the word, spreading the love. And I'm very pleased that you set up the Hockley and Hawkwell page. So if anyone's in the Hockley area, the Hawkwell area, and wants to promote something, wants to keep their customers informed as to what is happening with their local business, they can simply head onto the page and let you know, can't they, Simon?
Pretty much, yeah. Again, the great thing about the Hockley and Hawkwell group is it's open to anybody who's even got a slight affinity with Hockley. So we get all the expats on there as well.
It's great stuff. It's amazing stuff. Simon, thank you so much for your time this evening. You take care, and love to all the friends and family you've got around you too. And let's hope the Hockley and Hawkwell page grows a little further, and the Coronavirus Support Group page as well.